Internet, welcome to Film Theory, where I really don't get what the big deal is about me wearing this red shirt today. Anyway, Star Trek. Despite the show's seemingly idealistic utopian worldview, there's always been something that's bothered me about it. Something darker hidden beneath the surface of every Star Trek series and film I've ever watched. And I've seen pretty much them all. The original series, the animated series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, the motion picture, The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek Generations, the J.J. Abrams reboots. There are so many! What have I done with my life? How many hours have I spent? I mean, Star Wars fans only have to watch 7 films.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
Star Wars fans only have to watch 4 films. But Trekkies have to watch 6 different series and 13 different films. My God. No wonder I'm so pale. My life could have been so different. I could have had facial hair. Anyway, at first glance, the crew of the Enterprise seems like a bunch of benevolent heroes. Kirk and his crew repeatedly save the universe from alien clouds, angry lizard people, and even God himself. The Trek reboot series has continued this trend, with Kirk and his crew fending off against alien terrorists, genetically altered terrorists, and then, well, another round of terrorists. But throughout all of these, there's always been one consistent problem that no one talks about. Every mission, every fight, every supposed victory is told only from the Federation's point of view. Each episode of Star Trek and every subsequent film features Kirk or some member of his crew speaking into a star log.
Captain's log. Captain's log. Captain's log.
Captain's log.
USS Enterprise Captain's personal log.
And as a result, every episode and film comes from an inherently biased perspective, a story told to us by the Federation itself. So the question today is there a story here that they're not telling us? Is the Federation truly as benevolent as they claim to be? In order to truly evaluate the Federation and the real nature of the mission, we need to take a step back and boldly go where no YouTube host has gone before, to objectively analyze the Star Trek universe based purely on the behaviors of the characters and their surrounding society. All we have to do is start with the Federation's mission statement, which is conveniently repeated throughout everything Star Trek.
Space, the final frontier.
These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise.
Your ongoing mission, to explore strange new worlds.
To seek out new life and new civilizations. To boldly go where
no one has gone before.
This mantra boils down to one simple word: exploration. The Federation claims this exploration is only for acquiring knowledge and searching the cosmos, but take one look at history and you see a very different story. Exploration tends to occur with 2 different goals in mind. 1, to claim as many resources as possible to benefit the home empire, and 2, to spread that home empire, indoctrinating others under a single government and religion. Practically every single past exploration falls under these rules, from the expansion of the Roman Empire to British imperialism to the very foundation of the good old US of A. Christopher Columbus in 1492 didn't sail the ocean blue and discover America just to chill, meet some natives, and spend a few wampum on an I Heart Plymouth Rock coffee mug. No, sir! He claimed the land under European rule and forced Catholicism on all the indigenous people. Even the first explorations of space were fueled by Cold War fears. After Russia successfully launched Sputnik, America needed to establish a foothold in space before the Russians did it and started raining nukes down from above. It wasn't for education or discovery, it was to maintain dominance. And that's only 2 examples. Historically, exploration has always sprouted from primal and selfish human needs. And speaking to point 1 of those 2 points, we already know for certain that the Federation is on the hunt for resources. There are multiple episodes throughout the original series, like the Empath and Friday's Child, where we see the Federation's mining colonies, as well as them competing with the Klingons for mining rights. So then what about point 2, spreading the Empire? Why would we think that the Federation is any different? Because they tell us? But if you look beyond, Star Trek Beyond, if you look Star Trek beyond their words and start to see their actions, you see a completely different story. A story of fascism. Now, just so we're all on the same page, fascism is a system of government that controls all aspects of a citizen's daily life. Often, it comes neatly packaged with your friendly neighborhood dictator. Some of the most famous fascist dictators in history include Hitler and Mussolini during World War II, and you know how well things worked out there. But then how is the Federation, this seemingly do-gooder organization, fascist? Well, let's first take a look at what they control in the Star Trek universe. Transportation? Check. Just take a look at the vehicle lists of the Star Trek verse. They're all built by the Federation. The only non-Federation ships that we see throughout the series are those that belong to enemy alien species. If you're gonna want to travel the solar system, well then you're gonna have to talk to Big Daddy Federation to get some permission. Or just hop aboard a smuggler ship. Where's Han Solo when you need him? The Federation also controls communication and the flow of ideas. Every communicator is owned and controlled by the Federation. You can even clearly see the Federation's insignia inscribed on each one. Screw iOS versus Android, you're Federation or nothing. Then, by Star Trek The Next Generation, ships like the Enterprise D possess advanced computer systems that are capable not only of running most basic ship functions, but also of monitoring communications and the location of every crew member on board. And not only does the Federation control the flow of communication, but also its content. They own two of the most prevalent news programs in the galaxy, the Federation News Network and the Federation News Service. How about the justice and criminal court systems? Again, it's under the thumb of the Federation, and they use that power to cull the herd, using unilateral hearings to weed out anyone who dissents or is deemed as unfit. For instance, in the episode Galileo 7, we see Kirk directly disobey the orders of his High Commodore in order to save his crew, something heavily frowned on in the Starfleet. The grudge lives on, and a few stardates and episodes later, in the episode Court Martial, we see the Federation actively trying to get Kirk to resign, and when he refuses, trying to kick him off the ship in the first ever general court martial of a Starfleet captain, going so far as to hire a prosecutor who had a past personal relationship with him. They're making up the rules as they go along to make sure that Kirk gets kicked off. But it's not just in the original series. After Kirk's failed mutiny in the 2009 Star Trek movie, there's no trial, no deliberation, no jury. Spock simply orders Kirk to be placed into a pod and jettisoned off into an icy planet. Justice here is determined solely by those given power by the Federation. And what's more, there are no checks or balances to impede that power. In Into Darkness, Admiral Marcus develops long-range stealth torpedoes, constructs a secret mega warship, and organizes a warmongering plot against the Klingons. Those aren't feats Admiral Marcus did single-handedly. He was acting through Section 31, Starfleet Black Ops, something that required Federation funds and personnel to accomplish. Sure, Captain Kirk and the crew saw his actions as wrong and chose to fight against him, but then what about the rest of the Federation? Where were they in all of this? Additionally, in order to maintain control, fascists oppose any system in which citizens have power. As such, they despise capitalism, which is designed to give the common man democratic power through their spending. In fact, Hitler was determined to, quote, destroy this system under all conditions. You know the old saying, mo money, mo problems, no money, dictatorial rule. Now think back to all the times you've seen somebody in the Star Trek universe buy something or exchange money. I mean, there are tons of scenes of Kirk drinking at the bar, but you never see him pay, and that's because the Federation has done away with money and commerce. In Star Trek First Contact, we're told,
you see, money doesn't exist in the 24th century.
Sure, some purists might say that there's an economic system in place revolving around credits, but look closer and you see that this is only used as a form of exchange with alien creatures who don't understand the concept of economy without currency. It's a means to an end. The Federation, in the territories that it controls, has done something that Hitler could only dream of: eliminate capitalism. But you might be saying that this is all meant to create a utopian society, that mankind is working to create a universe beyond all wants and needs. But obviously they're not. Former members of the Federation routinely go rogue and attempt to assert their own dominance over civilizations. In Star Trek Beyond, the villain Krall is revealed to be Balthazar Edison, a disgruntled ex-Federation captain. In Star Trek Into Darkness, Admiral Marcus, another Federation member, attempts to start a war between the Federation and the Klingons, all to further his own political reach and power. No matter what the Federation may claim, humanity is still governed by the same selfish, basic motivations it's always been. Utopia? I don't think so. Even the ideology of the Federation directly mirrors fascism. Fascists emphasize the importance of the state over the individual. Per Adolf Hitler, quote, society's needs come before the individuals. Sound familiar?
Doctor, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
That's right. One of the most famous lines in Star Trek history promotes fascism. And it doesn't stop there. Star Trek is littered with offhand comments by our supposed heroes endorsing the ideology. In Star Trek Beyond, Scotty tries to convince Jayla to join Starfleet by invoking the famous bundle of sticks proverb. A single stick breaks easily, but a bundle of sticks is unbreakable. Seems harmless enough, right? Except this simple phrase is the very root of fascist ideology. In fact, the word fascism actually derives from the Latin fasces, which translates to a bundle of sticks. In fact, the original symbol of fascism in Italy was, get this, a bundle of sticks. Mind blown. Oh yeah, and what happens when you dare speak out against the Federation? If you even so much as question their motivations. Just look at Star Trek Beyond's Krall. He claims that after voicing his displeasure with the Federation, he and his crew were then stranded on the dying planet. Now, you may think to yourself, why trust the word of a Star Trek villain? Can we really believe his words over the Federation? No way, right? Except, we've already seen the Federation do exactly what Krall claims. When Kirk dares to speak out against Spock, he's immediately exiled to an inhospitable planet. And very clearly, this is what the creators of the movie had in mind. Just look at what they say in this featurette on the character of Krall.
I wanted a character that is there to deconstruct the Federation's ideals, but to do it in a way where he has a very valid philosophy.
So then, just what is the Federation up to? In the words of Spock,
An ancestor of mine maintained that if you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
And it's simply impossible that the Federation, a fascist organization that controls every aspect of its citizens' lives, that exiles anybody who dares question them, would explore the galaxies for purely benevolent purposes. Their mission statement, then, must be a lie. A facade. As we saw in World War II, fascists gain power through fear, building up anxieties in citizens against other groups or nations. The classic example here is Hitler and his crusade against people of Jewish descent. But now think about how the Federation always paints their enemy as aggressors or wrongdoers. But the Klingons, Romulans, and Cardassians, sorry, Cardassians, it's actually less scary if we talk about them, they all could just be responding appropriately to a fascist regime pushing across the galaxy. Remember, Star Trek is told through the eyes of the Federation, but you should always question the motives of the person telling you the facts so that you can get what's really going on, both in fiction and in real life. But hey, that's just a theory, a film theory, and cut. So now that we've talked about Star Trek, let's talk about Starbucks. Double Shot. We sponsored today's video, but not in the way that you'd expect. The Starbucks Double Shot YouTube channel just started a really cool new series called Uploaded, where they're going around to do some awesome mini documentaries on all your favorite YouTube channels. It's kind of like behind the music, but behind the videos. And of everyone online, I was one of the first people that they wanted to work with, which is really flattering. So if you want to see some embarrassing old videos of me, some awkward moments with me and the host in the old recording closet, or just a little bit about what a day in the life of a theorist looks like, well then click right here. Seriously, it'd be awesome if you showed them some support, because at a time when a lot of people still look down on what we do online, the fact that Starbucks is dedicating all the time and resources it takes to do little features on us is really cool. I kid you not, they brought a 20-person team to our house for an entire day to do this thing. It was crazy. I mean, maybe a little bit of overkill, but it was still really impressive. By doing this series, they're showing us creators and the online community as a whole a lot of respect. So click the annotation you see on screen or the one in the description and check out the video and leave them some love in the comments. Tell them that you really appreciate them doing this. So now that you've watched my video and you've watched their video, presumably, that's all I got for today. Next week, something a bit scarier. I'll see you then, if you dare.